Homemaking isn't a race to be won. It's not something we conquer or check off. It's more like a rhythm, a cycle, a gentle turning over of familiar things. Homemaking isn't a task you complete. It's a rhythm you return to over and over. It's not about perfection. It's about progress and faithfulness. You wipe the counters and the crumbs return. You fold the laundry and the basket fills up again. You wash the last dish and suddenly there are 3 more in the sink again. But none of it is wasted. These quiet, repeated acts, they're not signs of falling behind. They're signs of a home being lived in. Ecclesiastes 3 says, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven." Our homes move in seasons too, of energy and rest, of growth and stillness. And when we stop striving for a perfectly finished home and start embracing daily progress, everything softens. Everything becomes lighter and more peaceful. If you're feeling stuck in the repetition or discouraged by what's still undone, I hope today's video reminds you, perfection isn't the goal. Presence is. And even the smallest steps forward are enough. I remember when I first set out on my own as a young adult, one of the first and hardest lessons in homemaking was accepting that the work never truly stays done. You clean the kitchen, it's messy by the next meal. You make the bed, it's unmade by nighttime. But for me, it was the laundry that got to me the most. And this was a struggle that I had for the almost entire 13 years that my husband and I have been married. I used to strive for that satisfying moment, the empty basket, the final match sock, the sense of being caught up, as if I could actually finish the task once and for all. But the reality is, we just keep wearing clothing. I'd get to that point where everything was washed, dried, folded, and put away, only to turn around and find a new pile already forming in corners and baskets around my house, every single time. But recently, only a few months ago actually, something shifted. I was matching socks once again at the end of the day, already frustrated that the basket would be full again by morning, and then I suddenly realized, this isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign that life is moving, that we're living, growing, wearing clothes, playing outside, getting messy, and that's a gift. I don't mean to sound toxically positive in this situation, but sometimes we do need to take a step back and really take a good look at what the work around us actually represents. A perspective shift from the things that are weighing us down to the things that we are grateful for is huge in accepting the fact that truly the laundry never ends. I've stopped chasing the perfect finish line with laundry, and actually with a lot of different household chores, the cyclical ones that always come right back up within minutes, hours, or days of completing them one time. Now I think of it as a rhythm, a daily act of care, not just a project to be completed. Progress over perfection is what we say on this channel, and I'm going to take it one step further. Presence over performance. I've made some changes recently to my laundry routine that help me stay on top of it day after day. But when I fold laundry now, I would say the biggest change is that I'm coming from a place of gratitude, and that has brought so much peace. It's not just a chore, it's an offering. It's quiet, repetitive, sometimes unseen. It feels super mundane, but stepping away from being overwhelmed by the magnitude of the fact that I have to do this all the time, for the rest of my life, and seeing it as a daily offering that I make little by little and necessarily over and over again has totally shifted my perspective, and it's actually made me view other more cyclical, repetitive chores in my home in a better light. If your basket is full again today, you are not failing. You're living in a rhythm, and your faithfulness in the small things, it really does matter. As much as I love making meals from scratch, some seasons are just full. And when life gets especially busy, I'm so thankful for Factor, who's sponsoring this little portion of today's video. Factor is a meal delivery service that brings fully prepared, fresh, not frozen meals to your door. They're ready in as little as 2 minutes, which means you can still nourish yourself even on the days when the time is tight or energy is low. Everything is chef crafted and dietitian approved and made with real ingredients, and they offer options for just about every lifestyle. Whether you're eating keto, high protein, or just looking for some wholesome, no prep meals. I love keeping a few in the fridge for those days when the rhythm is full and cooking from scratch just isn't realistic. Head to factor75.com and use my code 50NatalieB to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code 50NatalieB at checkout for 50% off your first box plus free shipping, and I'll have the link in the description box for you to check out. Let's talk now about how homemaking changes with the seasons. Our world doesn't stay the same every day all year. Especially if you live in a place like I do, where we have 4 distinct seasons. Weather patterns, nature, creation around us is always shifting and moving. Our homes don't stay the same all year, and neither do we. Spring brings energy and fresh air. We find ourselves opening windows, organizing closets, starting again. Summer is full of motion and noise and messes, if I'm being honest. Autumn invites coziness, candlelight, a new beginning, warm, comforting soups and stews, and the winter slows us, offering quiet, inward rhythms and deeper rest. I have found that homemaking follows these seasons too. It's not supposed to look the same month after month. It's supposed to evolve, gently, just like we do. But in a world that rushes us forward constantly, that kind of presence can be hard to hold on to. Before the leaves on the trees even start changing color, stores are bursting with all things Christmas. In January, bathing suits appear next to discounted snow boots. The marketing moves faster than our hearts can keep up. I don't know about you, but this can make me feel like I'm always late, like I'm missing out on something, like I should have planned further ahead, bought more, done more. But Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." God doesn't rush the seasons. He moves slowly, faithfully, one step, one day, week, month, and season at a time. So if your rhythms feel slower than what the world expects, take heart. You're not behind. You're in sync with a rhythm that has something so much deeper. I've learned that homemaking isn't about keeping up with a marketing calendar or keeping up with the Joneses, as I like to say around here. It's about paying attention to what this moment truly needs, what my family needs, what I need. Sometimes that means clearing space on my schedule or taking a week or 2 off from uploading videos here on YouTube. And yes, sometimes I do need to plan ahead a little bit. But I've come to believe that there's a big difference between preparing and rushing. Marketing and social media often blur that line, pushing urgency, making us feel like we're falling behind if we don't buy the next best thing or the latest tool or the trendiest organizational item. But most of the time, the things we're afraid of missing out on just become clutter at the bottom of a drawer or the back of a closet. Progress in homemaking doesn't mean always staying ahead. It means staying rooted, staying responsive. Let your home reflect the season you're really in, not the one the stores are rushing you toward. This will bring the kind of peace marketing can't sell, but it's the kind your home can hold. I've learned that keeping my home, it's not just about the physical space or the items within it. It can be deeply emotional and spiritually rooted. Some days we feel creative and capable, we make fresh meals, tidy corners, light candles, and create beauty. And other days, we don't. We wake up tired, discouraged, grieving, or just empty. And that too is part of the cycle. Our energy naturally rises and falls. Our emotions shift, and our homes, like our hearts, move through their own seasons. I've learned this in a very real way after losing my grandma in 2021. She was such a grounding presence in my life. I was really close to her. We had grieved together the death of my grandpa just a few years before. When she passed, something in me dimmed, and it showed up in my home. My routine slipped. I felt disconnected from the space I loved and cared for. Then, not long after, we lost our niece, and that loss brought me to a place of surrender. It was there in the heaviness that I learned something sacred. Rest is not a reward for having it all together or for getting to the end of the to-do list. Rest is essential. It's just as important as any meal I cook or load of laundry I fold. I used to think homemaking was about pushing through and completing each task and checking off every little box. Now I know sometimes the most meaningful work I can do is to simply be still. Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Grief didn't get the final word. After the quiet, heavy season that I went through, there came joy. New life entered our home. Babies were born into our family. We brought home a sweet puppy, Opie, who filled our days with love and laughter. My husband stepped into a new full-time ministry role, and new friendships took root, rich, deep, meaningful ones, the kind that grows slowly but holds strong. This too is part of the cycle. Joy returns, light comes back, and when it does, it feels fuller somehow because you remember what came before. The emotional rhythm of homemaking is real, and it's holy. You are not falling behind when you rest. You are not falling behind when you grieve, and you are not dreaming too much in the times when you are rejoicing. Let it all live in your home, the sorrow, the laughter, the silence, and the celebration. Contrary to what the world might tell us, progress doesn't always look like productivity. Sometimes it looks like presence. Choosing to rest, holding space, setting that example for your kids or a younger generation, trusting that even in the quiet season, something good is growing. So if I had to pick my top 3 favorite things to do, it would be garden, host people in my home, and homeschool my children. And I've learned that rhythms and routines are what make those things possible. They don't hold me back. They free me to do what I love in a peaceful and productive way. The repetition, the dishes, the laundry, the morning reset, the evening reset. It used to feel like a barrier to the things that really mattered to me, but now I see it differently. These routines aren't distractions from a meaningful life. They're the structure that supports it. Most days, I actually find real joy in finishing the dishes and folding the laundry before I head out to the garden. That simple rhythm gives my mind peace and my hands freedom. The work behind me becomes an open door in front of me because the home has been tended. I can enter the garden with intention and peace, or greet a guest without rushing, or sit down with my children and teach them without thinking about the pile of laundry in the next room or the stuff that's left undone. Because even if something gets interrupted or I miss a part of my routine, I will be right back in rhythm the next time to pick it back up again and bring peace to our life. When my daily and weekly rhythms are in place, I can say yes. Yes to a spontaneous coffee date, yes to helping a friend, yes to hosting holidays or planning ministry work without chaos. Even the most beautiful gatherings and creative moments begin with simple, unseen acts of preparation, and that preparation is made possible by repetition and rhythm. This isn't about hustle or pressure, it's about loving attentiveness, being anchored so you can be available. When my routines are steady, I'm not scrambling. I can be fully present with my family at the school table, in the garden, or at the dinner table with my guests. Repetition gives me that gift. Our rhythms don't steal our freedom. One of the biggest lessons that I have learned as I work in my home is that our rhythms don't steal our freedom, they create it. They make room for joy, they make space for ministry, they make it possible to serve with peace instead of panic. And over time, these quiet, repeated tasks become the foundation for a life that feels deeply meaningful. What if we stopped chasing the idea of being caught up and started embracing the rhythm we're actually in? Homemaking isn't a straight line, it's a circle. It moves through the same motions again and again. The more I learn to flow with that rhythm instead of fighting it, the more peace I find. It's not about getting everything done. It's about being present for the people, the moments, and the spaces right in front of me. But I want to pause here and say something that really matters. In a world shaped by images and quick scrolls, it's easy to believe that other people have it all together. Social media, maybe even shots in this video, might give the impression that people's homes are always clean, always calm, always beautiful, but that's not the whole picture. There are messes here. There's noise and clutter and chaos. There are days I fall behind, days I get overwhelmed. It happens often because nobody is the perfect homemaker. Nobody is the perfect parent. Nobody is the perfect hostess. Comparison really is the thief of joy. And the sooner we let go of trying to match someone else's highlight reel, the sooner we can actually live inside our own life, fully and freely. The rhythms in my home aren't about control. They're about peace. They're about preparing the space so I can welcome people in, including myself, mess and all. If you hear nothing else in this video, please hear this. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to show up. Tend to what matters today. Fold what's in the basket and don't worry about how full it's going to be tomorrow. Sweep what's under your feet. Trust that your faithful rhythm is enough. Because it is.